Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today's word is acquiesce. 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 It's a verb. It means to accept or agree to something, often unwillingly. Reluctantly, he acquiesced to or in the plans. Synonyms are assent, formal, informal language. Acquiesce is a verb to accept or agree to something, often without really wanting to. The bank acquiesced to an extension of the loan. His acquiescence in these policies has made it possible for him to increase his support among some voters. However, it is better to acquiesce and leave on to submission than to endure the cost of challenging loan alone. It becomes easier to acquiesce than to risk appearing unprofessional with your publisher readers, especially in a business when the deadline was yesterday. When authority is legitimate, it is both simple duty and a natural inclination to acquiesce in it. Both premature transnationalism developed fully into its mature phase as liberal internationalism. Transnationalism had again mutated so as to acquiesce to the imperial order, or at least when that will be so if our reason for acquiescing in the regulatory regime is precisely that the regulations have this effect. Instead, it acquiesced in judicial reformist activity until legislation on the subject began in the 1920s. On the other hand, if students acquiesce to the creed, they are cooperating with dishonesty and undermining one of the medicine's pivotal values. Or at least that will be so if we acquiesce in the sort of representation because of how it serves our preferences. These employees found it more rational to battle the mechanists' union than to acquiesce to it. Though they fought long and hard against segregated churches and parishes, they eventually acquiesced in order to have access to better schooling. The opponents of the new system had the option of refusing to acquiesce and in MSc. To acquiesce to such erosion of professional ration due would seem to be evident more of inertia than rationality. None of these changes was necessarily congenial to the commander in chief for all that he acquiesced in and even implemented them. Recall that in weak consensus, there is a target group that acquiesces despite lack of concurrence to the consensus of an elite subgroup. Planters eventually acquiesced because they maintained control over crucial productive decisions. Cotton is what they wanted, and cotton is what the sharecroppers grew. Thanks.